Okay, here's what you all have been waiting for. This is how we are going to calculate the least squares regression line, which is our LSRL for short. It is the best line of best fit. So what we're going to do is make sure that our data is properly stored. So I have my L1 and L2 lists filled out, our X and Y values for our scatter plot. We've set up our scatter plot. We have our graph. Now we are going to calculate our least squares regression line. So you're going to go to Stat, scroll over to Calc, and we're going to go down to number 8. We use number 8 because this is the way that the line is written when using statistics, A plus BX, where A is our y-intercept and B is our slope. Go ahead and hit enter there. Now my calculator is set up so that it has a spot for each of these. So I'm going to double check that my X list is L1, my Y list is L2. If it's not, remember that you're going to press second, and then you're going to go down here and click whichever button you need. So L1 is here. Okay. Then what it's going to do is it's going to calculate a linear equation. But we want to store it somewhere so that we can actually see that line. So that's what this store reg EQ or equation is. This is how you're going to store your equation into the y equals part of the calculator. So you're going to press vars, V-A-R-S. Then you're going to go over to y vars. Then hit enter on function. Then you're going to hit enter on y1. What that means is it's going to store your equation into the y1 equation spot in your calculator. Go ahead and press calculate, and there you have it. There's your equation with your y-intercept and your slope. We're going to get to the r and r squared later, but now if you go to y, your equation is there, and you graph it, and there's your least squares regression line. Okay, so for those of you that don't have the setup where it has the X list, Y list, all of that, I'm going to show you how to calculate your least square regression line. So again, you're going to go to Stat, Calc, you'll go down to 8. And what happens when you press enter, that it doesn't have all of this stuff. It just says this lin reg A plus BX. So I'm going to show you what to do if that's what your calculator looks like. So it should say it right here. Mine doesn't, but after, what you're going to do is you're going to type in your X list, your Y list, and where you want to store it. So you'll press second, L1, then you're going to do the comma, which is right here above the 7, so comma, then you'll do second, L2, okay, then another comma, then you're going to do the Y vars to store it in Y1. So you'll do vars, go over to y vars, enter on function, hit enter on y1. Then when you press enter again, oh, ignore that. See, my calculator doesn't like that. So when you have this and you press enter, what it'll do is then it'll calculate it. So basically you're just typing in the two lists, your y1, and putting commas in between. Then you should have, once you do that, you should have your equation stored in y1, like this, and then you can graph it, and it'll graph your line.